I'm not going to confuse you with any Bible sayings. That's for sage bitches. The bottom line is when Jesus says things like that, which you do for the least of my brethren, you do for me, we can ignore all the poetic Apollo thong wearing pussies and get right to the point. The most righteous of people, the natural leaders, okay, are supposed to be in charge. Up until the point that I die, after that, nobody is righteous at all, so it doesn't matter who seems to be more righteous than whom. Okay. So life is a test about, which includes obeying the martial art order, first and foremost, that ends with me in this world, continues in heaven, okay, because that's a form of obeying God. God does not want you to steal. Pay the worker his wages. The wages of being the top martial artist and not some kind of scientific sage stooge is the right to lead. The wages of being some kind of old money establishment bitch is that you are to ignore everything they say and stop at nothing to not obey them. It's very simple. The deal, lead, and leader are connected. Seal and deal are connected. Everyone that doesn't have the moral will, moral courage, and moral toughness to obey the martial art order deserves to be here in the most miserable position, and they deserve to be in what the Bible describes as hell. Consider criminal negligence in terms of crimes against humanity. The people that are here who are not obeying the martial art order are complicit with crimes against humanity. All the movements that are allowed to exist, all the cultures, help to create the picture and the psychological construct that allows for rapes, murders, pedophilia, etc. Consider the continuity of high school pecking orders and how they too would suppress the martial art order, thus creating an evil which includes taking advantage of women if they were in charge. So we look at high school, right? Say the skater in high school, okay? He wants women to look up to him in high school. Right? He's not saying, hey, you know what, this black guy over here is a great martial artist. He comes from a great family. You know, I don't know why women aren't dating him. I don't know why you choose me and not him, for instance. No one's making that argument in high school. And so it is when time goes on. No one makes that argument, even now. They grow up. They get older. They don't grow up. They don't grow out of it. Okay? This screams that if they were in charge, they too would suppress the martial art order and say, look at me, which is a form of creating a rape system. It's basically creating a rape system. You're confusing the attractive women, especially in the system, about who they should desire. Okay? That is stealing the wages. The wages of being the top martial artist is the admiration of potential wives. Hell, nerds who pretend that they're action stars like Van Damme and all these guys, okay? You know, have a bunch of women that wish that they could date them, even now when they're older, with sag tits flapping in the wind, okay? Think about it. You're stealing that from this person. And the women that would go to this person for the most morally sound reasons now go to fucking rape cult filth. Okay? That's a rape system. There's no two ways about it. Consider that a lack of moral courage means a lack of desire to masterfully serve the Lord. How could that not mean that? God is looking for people with the moral courage to be of use to him. You don't make the cut if you don't have the moral courage to defy the system and serve the martial art order that ends with me in this world and continues in heaven. Period. It's that simple. There's no viable counterargument. They don't even attempt to make one. The falcon is a symbol of the moral will, the moral courage, the moral toughness, the moral precision, okay, and basically the morals that God requires in general, okay, to fly high and transcend to serve the Lord. How do you transcend? Morality. It's the spirit of righteousness. Morals. What is right? What is moral? What is the right thing to do? What is the moral of the story in regards to what is the right thing to do? Jesus came to bring a sword. He's like, look, if I came to bring a sword, you stupid coward. Am I saying don't obey the men in the martial art order who have more moral worth than you do? Am I saying listen to yourself and rely on yourself with a trowel and a diaper and an apron? Or am I saying obey the martial art order? If you cannot come up with an argument as to why you should be in charge and not them, then you must obey them. And it has to be a viable argument, a sound argument. Okay? If somebody throws a baby off a cliff and you have a chance to catch him, okay, and the right thing to do is to save him, do you then make an argument? No, I'm not going to catch him because that's the logical thing to do. We're going to say that just because it's the logical assumption doesn't mean you should do it. If that is the logical assumption, right? There's no, it says, hey, you know what, that baby's going to masterfully live, or that baby's going to grow up to be Hitler. You don't know that. Because you don't know that, the logical thing to do, the right thing to do, is to grab the baby and save his life. How much more when it comes to serving God? You don't know of any more sound argument than obeying the martial art order. So when you don't serve God, period. The spirit, angels with a spear and a sword. Jesus came to bring a sword. The root and offspring of David, a warrior king. There is no viable counterargument. And it has to be sparring. Is it the brute? Demons and brutes and bikers and big people in prison? Okay? Doesn't take a genius. The Roman soldiers themselves, they were brutes with armor. You know? Don't take a fucking genius to see that's not it. Doesn't take a genius to see some Harry Potter nerd scientists who are responsible for the system in its current state and scientific racism, which is the core of the culture, and there's a bunch of scientific sexual sadists that came up with porn and all this bitch shit. Doesn't take a genius that the sage/scientist has proven that he is the traitor, evil worm at the bottom of the quote-unquote spiritual pyramid. Intelligence, in terms of Anki, is rape cult bitch shit. Okay, the intelligence agencies, oh, they're so smart. They do all kinds of corrupt shit. Everyone knows that. COINTELPRO, CIA assassinations. Okay, you know, the Contras in Nicaragua, right, bringing crack into the black community. Their intelligence didn't make them smart. It made them corrupt vessels of the devil. Period. They wouldn't argue that. They wouldn't argue to the contrary themselves. What would they say? Well, there's this war on terror. Some of us say the war on terror is fake. But our argument is because we fight against the terrorists that we're good. It's fucking stupid. They have no viable counterargument. They're evil. The intelligence agency form of intelligence, school, which looks backwards, is evil. Inventing something is not more intelligent than painting a picture that shows that you have a certain understanding of society. Okay? Inventing something can be like, you know, I just had an idea. Instead of putting the desk here, I'm going to put it over there. It's that simple. It's not much more complex than that. The math and the logic that goes into understanding science isn't that great. You know, you see dumb bitches all the time come out with PhDs in fucking physics and shit like that. And all kinds of, and a higher understanding of calculus and all kinds of stuff. This stuff's not that hard. You just have to stick with it and keep thinking about it. And like, oh, I get it now. Right? Eventually you'll have the, oh, I get it now moment. It's not that hard. Coming up with a new, you know, solving a math problem, it's the repetition. Every day you work at it. That's pretty much all there is. There's some small spectrum of skill in regards to math, and that's about it. Okay, scientists aren't that smart. And part of what gives it away is their lack of moral courage. How smart you have to be to realize that moral courage is a higher path than inventing things for the New World Order and the corporate rape called elite. Which leads me to moral receptivity and moral isolation. Part of what I'm suffering from is being moral in an immoral society, which means I am living in a form of moral isolation. I am like an angel in hell. Everyone else doesn't have the moral courage, moral toughness, moral will, moral precision to serve God and to do the right thing and to obey the martial art or the moral insight. Reminds me of the Shaka Zulu movie where he says, the white man deals in illusion, Shaka. You have taught us to live in reality. Think about that. They live in a rape cult illusion with a bunch of pirates who have you know, come across the ocean and stolen land from other people and injected their rape cult genes into the population and created new races. Okay? Have designed a system where they rape everybody and women look up to the most scumbag, blood money, fucking rich pieces of shit. It's that simple. They're sexual sadists, eugenicists, Francis Galton, Marquis de Sade type of bitch. Rape of the Sabines type of bitch. They have a Rape of the Sabines diaper on and a Marquis de Sade fucking trowel and a fucking eugenicist lifestyle. They're scum. The attractive females have become dangerous groupies. No morality. Okay? Even the ones who go to church. They don't know their Bible well enough And if they do, they're pure evil. If you know the Bible well, why aren't you being a good person? Why don't you obey the martial art order? Okay? But most of them, the vast majority of them, don't know the Bible well enough, and they don't live a moral lifestyle. Fuck you doing in church, you groupie? They think church is a groupie activity where they have fellowship with other groupies. Oh, yes, and act like bitches. Oh, tennis playing, fucking, headband having, visor wearing pussies. Anyway, it's there in the wordplay. When you talk about martial arts, we're not talking about gear. Those people say, no gear. The Nigerian guy can beat us at martial arts, so we're going to call them no gears because we're mature. We're going to design a system where we take advantage of the fact that they don't have gear and do an invalid martial art challenges that gives the people with gear and old money the upper hand. And we're going to take advantage of people who are racist, holding them down. On top of that, the psychological construct and everything that comes with it. And we're going to back, look at us, look at me. They're bitches. Even the word equipment has the word meant in it, which means mind. Your psychological, privileged, blood money. Satan is the god of this world. Your God, your energy, your rape cult bitch, Hades energy type of bitch. There's like the word movement. Move and meant for mind. And the word torment. Tear, right, and try is tor, T-O-R, scrambled with interchangeable vowels. Meant for mind. Are you in the right mind, in good shape? Or are you in equipment-based blood money, stealing Pocahontas to improve your genetic worth, and then turning around and say, it's the white side of the family? Because in Western culture, the core, the people look up to, are geeky bookworms, when the worm is the ancient archaic term for snake. Think about that. You are book snakes who go to school, which is looks backwards. You are snakes who deal in illusion, who think with your snakes. You're little, pathetic, sniveling snakes. And then you go, they pointed that out. Shrink their dicks, give them drugs, do something, make them grow tits, put stuff in their food. We put stuff in the water that makes frogs change sex and become functionally female. Male frogs put stuff in their food, too. Just weirdos. There's Harry Potter, Willow Osgood pussies. Oh, Airway Jetson looking punks. Just cowards that God hates. How could God not hate this type of bitch? Can you imagine these pussies actually thinking God doesn't hate them? Can you imagine that? They know God hates them. They worship the devil. Think about it. You think they don't? Even that kind of a cowardly fool is not that stupid. Come up with the word accurate. In the word accurate, what is an accurate explanation? It's right there in the word a core, a cure, and a care, eight. Ka, cure, eight. Who ate him? The ancient serpent, Apep, Camp, Atum. All those snakes like ISIS, snakes. And we look at the scientists. What are their names? Is there wordplay? But Chukuharu, is there wordplay in the scientist names? Because I'm not quite convinced. Okay, let's go there. Niels Bohr, one of Set's main forms, the Bohr. Boring ass scientist bitch. I want a relationship with him because I'm a gold digger. Nikola Tesla. Backwards. All Set. Set has a form which is a bull. Set became associated with Apep, the dragon, the ancient serpent in the Bible, etc. And dragon is a play on words scrambled with interchangeable vowels for G or gay, with all due respect to the gay community, nerd. It's also, when you remove the G, you can get